Hi, my name is Haley. I was born and raised in Orange County, California. I love to draw, write, I play video games, I sing, I really like to do hair and makeup. My career is I want to be an animator or storyboard artist, something like that. Pixar would be the dream, but my big dream is to one day finish my story that I've been working 9 years on and either make it into a webcomic or a series of novels. So I've never really talked about my condition before, and although this prompt isn't particularly long, I think I'm going to talk in more detail with my experience with BFRBs. For those of you who don't know, BFRB stands for Body Focused Repetitive Disorder, which is an umbrella name for impulse control behaviors involving compulsively damaging one's physical appearance or causing physical injury. It's considered a denomination of OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder. I'll post links with more information on what BFRBs are and how they work more down below. I was 6 years old when my BFRB started. I didn't know what it was at the time and obviously didn't have enough information to understand what I was doing. So it was actually my parents that told me I started this early. I thought I had started in like the 6th grade, but they were like, no, you were 6. I was like, okay. I didn't think anything of it, so I guess I didn't remember. Teachers would tell my parents that in class I would pull out the hairs on my arms while I was listening or talking to them, not realizing I was doing it. And the arm hair picking apparently lasted several years until about the 4th grade when my picking went to the top of my head. And this was when my parents panicked and they didn't take me to a doctor about it. I think they did, but pediatricians and general care doctors don't really know what those sorts of things are, I don't think. So they just sort of kept yelling at me about it. They didn't understand what was happening, so for them, they thought it would just go away. Then the 6th grade hit, and I started picking out my eyebrows. And then in the 7th grade, the eyelashes joined. And it wasn't until college when I went back to my head. And it mostly revolves around the hairline, so it's not like all up in here, in the scalp area. It's just along here. So like my widow's peak, if you can see, is like just now starting to grow back from the last time I went nuts on it. So growing up, being made fun of, most kids called me like ugly or an alien, fill in the blanks, kids are mean. I didn't understand what was going on. It wasn't until high school that I Googled it and realized that I had a condition called Trichotillomania. It was so strange actually having a name to this problem I'd been having because no one told me it even existed. It was a real thing. I wasn't just being some weird kid freaking out her parents. It was a real diagnosable condition. The more I looked into it, I learned that it mostly affects women and 1 to 2% of adults and adolescents have it. Typically speaking, it starts in young girls around the ages of 9 to 13 years old, and some studies I read said that most people grow out of it when they grow into adults, while some said if left untreated, an individual with Trich could go through their entire lives having it. Mine had definitely been left untreated, but when I looked, that's all it was. Treatment. There was no real cure, but I started trying to get my parents to read up on the condition, which took them a little while to actually take me seriously and do that. They thought that I was just like, oh, you kids just trying to diagnose everything. And it's just like, no, it's a thing. It's a real thing, I promise. And then once they started reading it, they realized, yeah, it's a thing. And once they understood what the condition was, it felt like they were more understanding and supportive rather than irritable and afraid. The worst part about having a BFRB is pretty split between the bullying growing up with it and the self-image issues that followed. I was so down on myself growing up, thinking that I wasn't beautiful for years. I the self-image issues for sure, because I still have self-image issues surrounding it, and it definitely affects your confidence, which in turn affects your interactions with other people and even your relationships sometimes, because that anxiety is just so severe. You think that people are looking at you and laughing at you or think you're gross, and it's everything. The best part about having a BFRB isn't really the best about the condition, but about how my friends and family see it. They understand that it has become very intertwined with my anxiety disorder, so they're able to see when something's really bothering me and try to help. It's a pretty good radar for when I'm struggling with something, so guess it's a blessing in disguise. My ideal reaction when I tell someone about my BFRB really is just open-mindedness. Like, spare me the grossed out looks or the judging looks, oh, you really do that to yourself? Because yes, I do. And it's a condition that I've had for 16 years, so there's nothing you could really suggest to me that I haven't already tried. Just please take the information and try to understand what it is. Then we can move on and you can keep treating me the same way you did before. How people can help is to educate yourself. If someone in your life has a BFRB, read up on what it is. Like, it absolutely helps just feeling like you're understood and not looked at like there's something wrong with you. Learn your loved one's triggers for it, and when you see it happening, distract their hands with something else, like a fidget cube or putty eraser, things like that, like little things to keep their hands occupied. It's less intrusive and less disrespectful significantly than smacking their hands away or holding them down, and way more efficient than just telling them to stop. What I would like to tell people who just discovered the BFRB community is that you understanding that we're still just people is what's most important to us. We're still capable of everything everybody else is, and you reading up and learning about it and spreading awareness is what's really going to take the stigma away. And then maybe we as a society can get to a place where we can try to get to the root of its cause. No pun intended. This is something that I've lived with for more than half my life, so spreading awareness is really what makes me feel like we've made progress in understanding BFRBs. This is me.